Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth. I am the writer and creator behind Tanuki Audio Tunes. On this channel, I primarily focus on creating work around audio dramas, audio-driven stories, and a little bit about writing advice as well. I am leaning towards writing my very first novel. It's in its infancy stages, so you won't really hear too much about it. I am also trying to do a little mini series right now about grief. And so it's very personal for me. So you can check it out on the shorts when they come out if you're interested in that type of thing. But today I wanted to talk about New Year's resolutions. And so I kind of wanted to first start off talking about the new year and how I'm going to approach it. I think as a writer, it's so easy to kind of put things on the back burner, especially when you're working full time. I think for writers that are retired, they're able to focus more on their craft. But it's just as someone who works full time, who is a student and trying to get through life, sometimes I know I find my writing in the back burner, even when I'm doing New Year's resolutions. So for this year, I kind of naturally started having writing goals, and I realized that it's so important to do. So my writing New Year's resolutions for the year, the first one is to write consistently. So something that I've done throughout 2025 was something called Shut Up and Write. If you've heard about it, it's amazing. If you haven't, you should really look it up. It's on meetup.com. You just type in Shut Up and Write. There's different subsections based on region. But overall, if you just look up Meetup and Write, Shut Up and Write, sorry. And you go through the online meetups, you can see different times and different groups, and you should totally join one for a time that works best for you. I'm more of a night owl, so for me, doing the night writing groups is just perfect. I think for a lot of writers, though, they love the morning time for their writing, so there's so many morning groups. I wished for more night groups. But anyway, so you can definitely join one of those groups if kind of writing in company helps you feel like you're able to focus and concentrate. That's a beautiful way to do it. And for me, it's really nice. It kind of forces me to sit down. It's a little bit of a commitment to, spend the 2 hours writing. Sometimes I haven't really been consistent with that. So I definitely want to find a time during the week, like a day of the week. Let's say I'd say Mondays, certain time. Let's say I do 8 p.m. where I'm only writing from like 8 to 10 and doing that every week. And the reason why I feel like that's going to work better for me than what I've been doing is because I have a set system for when I do my laundry. Just as an example, when I get off of work, every Tuesday I do my laundry. And so that's been super, super good for me. And my sister brought it up too. She was like, oh, I need to be more like you because you always do laundry, you always do this. And I was like, I do. And then I was like, oh my God, yes, I do, because I have that system in place. So I really need to be more intentional about setting that system. And if you don't already write consistently and have your own writing pattern, I would suggest trying Shut Up and Write. They do in person, online, and it's a good way to meet other writers and to just kind of build a little community and to build that habit. Sometimes it's a bit easier if you're doing a commitment to other people to show up than just trying to find the motivation and drive on your own. So the second type of resolution goal I have for myself is to share my work. So in 2025, I've done open mics. I've had some highs and lows with that experience, but I think the positive with that is you get a little bit more comfortable with your work being heard or being seen, you can say, as a writer. So open mics are really great for poetry in particular, or I want to say like a flash fiction maybe at most, but more for poetry. It really gives you an opportunity to hear your words, to kind of, if you're comfortable looking at the audience, you can kind of even see reactions. I would kind of, take it with a grain of salt because sometimes, or a lot of the times, at least at the open mics I've been going to, there's a lot of people in the room. A good chunk of them are only interested in their own performance, or if they brought their friends are interested in their friends' performance. And so sometimes the audience isn't always the most polite. But I am going to say it does depend on the venue and on the place. I one time walked around with my partner, and we were in Santa Cruz, and there was this open mic happening. I wanted to walk in. Everyone was super quiet, super respectful, and that's something that I don't have in my hometown of San Jose. So it kind of depends on the environment, the people, but it's good practice either way. I'm still at a point where I'm not brave enough to just memorize my poetry and read it aloud. I'd be terrified that I'd forget the line, and I don't want to be talking and then kind of have my phone and being like, ah! That's just me though. But if you are able to memorize your poem and just read it aloud, I think that's a really great starting point. If not, just have your phone out and just read it. You know, people are more nice than you think. So if you haven't already done that, definitely try it. The next thing I want to do for this upcoming year is to do writing classes and workshops. Literally today I signed up for a writing workshop related to romance writing. I don't know that the workshop is going to be 100% useful, I guess, to an extent. I know in the first week they're going to talk about if your writing is just a romance or if it has romance elements. And I feel like some of my stories have romance elements, although I think I can kind of consider Caroline Evelyn, just as an example of a work, to be solely a romance. It's not really anything other than a romance. But I know, like, even for my novel, there's other like subplots other than the romance, and so it's kind of like, what do I put in the center and kind of what do I drive forward with that? But anyways, that's kind of the point of a writing class and a writing workshop, right? You learn more skills and you learn new things. The reason why for me I wanted to partake in that more is just because for all the years that I've been writing, I think I've hit a plateau just because I haven't been in the mindset of I need to learn more about writing. I've kind of been feeling very confident in myself, like, oh, I've been improving and I write better than these people, because I was in the world of fan fiction for so long. And, you know, a lot of fan fiction writers, they're high schoolers and early college year students. And so, you know, their writing is going to be at a certain point, a certain level. And I'm in my later 20s now. And so I'm like, you know what? I kind of have to get more serious. I need to really approach writing with the mindset of I don't know everything. Yes, by just writing, I'm improving and I have great ideas. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not trying to put myself down, but it is just a matter of you have to be realistic. You can always improve, you can always grow, there's always something to learn. So yeah, the other thing with that is I did my first critique session for my audio drama Caroline Evelyn. It was a really good experience. Overall, I feel like I got some very valuable feedback on just how things land, and I was super thrilled with one of the critiques, which is that one of the people said that they wish there was more dialogue, and I was like, yes. You want to know why? Because whenever I do my audio stories, I do get a lot from the listeners that they wish that there was more narration. And so I feel like kind of my work, I'm trying to add a little bit more narration for the folks in the back who can't hear, type of a thing. But I think I should just be more comfortable and like, hey, you know what? Those who are meant to really grasp the story, the target audience is the target audience, you know? And so that's kind of a little nugget too I kind of want to dive into for the year, is you need to write your work for the intended audience, not just for everybody, because not your work isn't for everybody. It's just for a certain niche, it's for a certain target audience. And so I'm really excited for what's ahead, especially for my audio dramas, and I really hope in the next few years to have a whole season of something out. So yeah, those are my New Year's resolutions. I'd totally love to hear what yours are for writing, for voice acting, for any other of your creative works. Yeah, so have a good 2026. I wish I could post something about 2016. I don't really have anything from there. Well, actually, let me maybe try to find a poem from 2016 and maybe I can share that, hashtag 2016 or something, I don't know. But anyways, have a good 2026.